Now at 9, how Kansas schools could benefit from a supplemental instructional math program. Plus, some Good Samaritans in Knoll, Missouri rescued a dog that was found with an arrow through its head. Plus,
from elections to health care, former President Jimmy Carter has had a profound impact on the U.S. and abroad. I'm Matha Rivera in Plains, Georgia, and I'll have that story coming up.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Thank you all for joining us tonight. I'm Jalen Banks. Some awesome residents in Knoll, Missouri rescued a dog that was found with an arrow through its head. KOAM's Cale Chapman has more.
Rescuers from a local rescue group, I'm Your Huckleberry, came to pick up the dog and her puppies. Sherry Carter was the rescuer who took the dog to the vet and is now fostering the dog, which she named Noelle. She's also fostering the puppies and has converted a room in her home just for the dogs.
That I thought I'd go ahead and go help. So yesterday afternoon, I went and helped her, loaded her up and took her to the vet.
Noelle and her puppies went to Village Pet Hospital in Bella Vista, Arkansas, where Noelle had the surgery to remove the arrow. Village Pet Hospital did the surgery at cost.
It was a big effort to get her to the vet. You know, I didn't act alone, and there was a lot of people helping, so that was great.
I'm Your Huckleberry organized an online fundraiser on their website for Noelle's surgery, but there's still work to be done.
So even the money that doesn't go to Noelle and her care, of course, there's a large need for all the other animals that are there.
I'm Your Huckleberry and other area rescue groups are looking for more foster parents and volunteers for their operations. Reporting from Noel, Missouri, I'm Cale Chapman, KOAM News.
You can find the support link for Noelle and I'm Your Huckleberry on our website at KOAMnewsnow.com. Chief Meteorologist Doug Heddy joins us with the first look of the weather.
Well, it actually turned out to be a dreary day for us today. Clouds most of the day. It was kind of chilly, 44 for a high. Started at 22. Normal high is 53 for this time of the year. We still have a winter weather advisory for 1 more hour across our northwestern counties in southeastern Kansas for a little bit of freezing drizzle. So if you live Chanute, Iola, Yates Center, Fredonia, and Neodesha, watch out for a little bit of freezing drizzle out there. Everybody else, light drizzle, liquid form, because we're above freezing, and the heaviest is now pushing off toward the east. You can see our temperatures right below freezing in southeastern Kansas. Everybody else upper 30s to near 40 degrees. But as we go through the night, we'll drop back, lower 30s, a little bit warmer for us tomorrow. Plus, we got some thunderstorms in the forecast. We're going to talk about that here in just a bit.
Schools around Kansas can now benefit from a free supplemental instructional math program. KOAM's John Nahadula talked with the local school district about the impact that this new program can have.
The Kansas State Department of Education announced about its contract with IXL Learning Program. Now, students around the state can improve their math skills online. The Galena School District is already using the program.
Good thing about IXL, there's a diagnostic assessment that we give to our kids, and then based on the results of that assessment, the program identifies a specific learning plan for every individual student. So they're working on their grade level, at their skill level.
Van Clave says the new state contract saves the district thousands of dollars.
And it worked out good for us this time in our district that we're currently using a program that the state says is valuable to the point that they're going to pay for it for all schools in Kansas for the math portion.
Middle school teachers use IXL's language arts program. Dan Dorr says his colleagues in middle school will probably start utilizing the math program more when it's free.
IXL keeps coming up with different lessons and quizzes, and we can do group jams on it, and that allows us to really hit the standards and meet our curriculum needs.
Van Clave says students can use the math program at home with iPads.
So some kids like it, some kids don't. It's extra practice in English and math, so we try to show the benefit to the students that if you try hard on this, it's going to help in your main class, and it will help raise your test scores as well.
In Galena, Janna Haudala, KOAM News.
The free math program is available for accredited public and private schools K-12 starting today. Schools already using IXL will be provided a credit for an extension to the current subscription. A new partnership between the Foundry at Block 22 and the Southeast Kansas Education Center at Greenbush is providing new system education opportunities to area schools. STEM is science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. The partnership is taking those STEM students from area schools on field trips. Today's field trip was to the Pittsco Idea Shop at the Foundry. Students had the opportunity to watch a science educator demonstrate how to code a Sphero robot.
I hope the class takes away that learning can be fun. It can be fun, engaging, exciting, but you're also learning skills that you will use in your everyday life.
One teacher said these field trips allow self-directed learning and soft skills like teamwork, but also provide her students with something that they don't have access to at their schools. U.S. Senator Roger Marshall of Kansas today got a first-hand look at a high-tech farming technique. The senator toured Leafy Green Farms in Pittsburgh. It's a hydroponic facility where plants are grown in nutrient-enriched water without the need for soil. Since plants are grown indoors, the facility can help provide fresh produce year-round, regardless of weather.
Well, I think on both ends of the spectrum, senior citizens as well as our kids growing up as well, that we can try to give our kids strawberries or fresh fruits and vegetables on their lunch tables, but they're not eating them because they don't taste good. So what
Leafy Green says it grows its produce inside of repurposed shipping containers and says this farming method uses only a small fraction of the water used for conventional farming. Former President Jimmy Carter remains in hospice care at his Plains, Georgia home. 4 decades, the 98-year-old has had a profound impact on the people in the U.S. and abroad. Fox News correspondent Madeline Rivera has more.
For decades, former President Jimmy Carter's work has impacted people from around the world. But supporters say some of his efforts may have been overlooked.
If the goal is worthy, move ahead even if there's a risk of failure.
Those close to former President Jimmy Carter say he's used to tackling big problems. As a little-known Georgia governor, he announced his run for presidency, later taking his family and friends to campaign in Iowa and New Hampshire. He finished second at the Iowa caucuses, but used that as a stepping stone to gaining national recognition. The outcome helped put the Iowa caucuses on the map.
If you notice, all candidates go to Iowa now. It's the launching place of every presidential campaign. And that is something that Jimmy Carter started.
After leaving the White House, Carter made it his mission to fight neglected tropical diseases. Through his nonprofit, the Carter Center, his efforts provided treatments and nearly eradicated the parasitic illness guinea worm. Carter's friends credit his perseverance and commitment to helping others to his upbringing in Plains, Georgia. That's where he and his wife Rosalind's work will live on, through places like the Boys and Girls Club. It serves more than a dozen children in the area and is located just down the street from the Carter's home.
He is a great man whose legend will live forever. Way beyond what he did or accomplished in the White House.
The Carters also helped to raise funds for the Boys and Girls Club to ensure its long-term success. In Plains, Georgia, Madeline Rivera, Fox News.
Coming up, we'll take a look at a new study that says marijuana could put you at higher risk for heart disease. Using marijuana every day might increase the chance of developing coronary artery disease, or CAD for short. That's according to a new study being presented at the annual meeting of the American College of Cardiology on Sunday. The study, which has not yet been published, used data from the National Institutes of Health that looked at cannabis use in at least 1 million Americans over time. It showed a 34% higher risk of developing CAD for daily users of cannabis compared to those who never partake. A new study says catching COVID-19 could increase the risk of an autoimmune disease. The research, which is yet to be peer-reviewed and was posted in the per-print database MedRxiv, says those who had COVID-19 had a 43% increase in developing an autoimmune disease in the future. The study focused on specific conditions as hemolytic anemia, which affects red blood cells. Researchers say more studies are needed to determine if other viral infections are to blame as well. If you test negative for COVID but still feel sick, how do you know if you have a flu? But it's extremely difficult. That's about to change. The Food and Drug Administration has approved an at-home test today that you can check for both COVID-19 and the flu. It's made by California biotech company Lucira Health. The test is 99% accurate at detecting a negative result for influenza A and 90% accurate for a positive result. Doug is back with a complete look at the forecast and later. Pitt State and Missouri Southern baseball go head-to-head in Pitt. Jacob Leonard will have those highlights in sports.
Well, it definitely was dreary outside for us today. We had clouds really most of the day. It was cold. Temperatures, most of us only into lower 40s. Still have the clouds out there right now, but the parking lot filling up. It's Friday night. Indigo Sky Casino and Resort. Still have a winter weather advisory for our northwestern counties for about 45 more minutes due to a little bit of freezing drizzle. Not a huge deal, but watch out if you do live out toward Yates Center, Iola, Chanute. A little bit of a glaze across the region. Everybody else just showers. Most of these have pushed out into central parts of Missouri. We do still have a little bit of drizzle, but besides that, we are looking quite a bit better. It is cold. 34 in Nevada, 41 Neosho, 41 at Grand Lake. Veneta 38, 33 in Chanute, 31 in Yates Center. So that's why there's been a little bit of freezing drizzle where our temperatures are just a little bit cooler. All right, let's go outside. 7th and Rangeline currently sitting at 37. North winds at about 5 to 10. Humidity is at 67%. Through the overnight hours, we drop back through the lower 30s, 31 for an overnight low. And clouds really sticking around as we go into the daytime hours tomorrow. But this weak wave rotating off toward the east. Here's our next storm system, strong storm system, which will start to affect us late in the day on Sunday. Until then, it's pretty quiet. We are going to have a lot of clouds over the weekend, but pretty quiet. All right, so starting out upper 20s to lower 30s. A little bit of sunshine in the morning, then mostly cloudy skies as we get into the afternoon. 54 in Pineville, 50 in Veneta, 48 in Fredonia. Nevada should make it up to about 50 degrees, so at least warmer than what we have seen today. As we go into tomorrow night, some showers start to pop up, mainly after midnight across the region. These are going to be light showers, and they will push through and be out of here by Sunday morning. Most of Sunday, just mostly cloudy skies, but we start to get some thunderstorms in here Sunday night. So this is 9, 10, 11 o'clock. They'll start getting into our western counties and then push in. Now, some of these storms within this line could be strong, possibly severe. So it's something we want to watch as we go through the next couple days. But you can see this is about midnight, 1, 2 a.m. And then most of these are gone by 4 o'clock in the morning on Monday. All right, day planner for you on Saturday. 31 to start, 46 by noon. High temp, 54. We'll drop back to 53 by 5 p.m. Rainfall with this next storm system, right now it doesn't look that heavy. I think these amounts will kind of come up a little bit as we get a little better grasp on where the line of storms is going to be, but 1/4 to 1/2 inch looks very possible, which we can always use. All right, let's go 54 tomorrow, 64 on Sunday, 66 on Monday, 68 Tuesday. We have a nice stretch of great temperatures Sunday all the way through Wednesday, and then rain and snow chances late next week.
Yeah, that looks good. This is a little bit off topic, but just now when I saw you at the wall, I was looking at your outfit. We're pretty much matching today.
Yeah, we are.
Got the white and the blue and the black jacket.
Looks good.
Yeah, I like it. All right, thank you, Doug. Coming up, what a new report shows about the current state of the housing market and the latest trends. The housing market weakened in January for the 12th straight month as continued high mortgage rates kept buyers on the sidelines. Fox Business Network's Gary Willis has details.
The housing market continues to slide as high rates and high prices constrain buyers. Plus, uncertainty fueled by layoffs are also putting the brakes on potential demand.
The market is on a standstill because nobody knows what to do. People are not listing their places, and the sales volume is down 51% just in New York City, 51%. But their prices have not come down.
As a result, mortgage applications have plummeted. The latest Mortgage Bankers Index showing applications were down 18% from the prior week. That's the biggest drop in 18 years. This week, we learned that new home sales beat Wall Street expectations, rising more than 7% in January. But the strength is concentrated in a single region, the South, where sales rose 17%, while the rest of the country saw a drop. In the Northeast, it was a sharp drop, down 19.4%. Now, sales of existing homes also languishing as the total value of homes plummeted $2.3 trillion to $47.7 trillion in the second half of 2022. That's down 4.9%. And that's the largest drop since 2008, when home values fell 5.8%. But as the pros say, all real estate is local. And while values are falling in places like San Francisco and New York, areas like Miami and Knoxville, Tennessee have gained 20%. Experts say large cities will have to do more to attract buyers.
Law and order in most of this, in any city, particularly the urban cities where you're going to have tourists and corporations, they need to feel safe. And I don't think that people will invest in any market if they don't feel safe.
Smaller towns are getting more attention from buyers. Bankrate says the top 5 metros for first-time home buyers include Kansas City and Raleigh, North Carolina. Bottom line, experts say the U.S. housing market is taking some hits, but talks of a collapse are way overblown. In New York, Jerry Willis, Fox Business.
Shoppers were shelling out more at the stores as we started the new year. Consumer spending jumped 1.8% in January, more than analysts were expecting. Meanwhile, personal income rose for the month too, but just not as much. That was up 0.6%. Meta is getting into the AI race. The company says it's coming out with a new language model based on artificial intelligence. It's aimed at the research community. Called Llama, short for Large Language Model Meta AI. Its goal is to help experts tease out the problems of AI language models, from bias to their tendencies to make up information. Up next, how a unique cafe is gaining popularity for its construction-themed baked goods. A cafe that looks like a construction site and sells cake that looks like bricks is getting all the rage in Seoul. What was supposed to be a showroom under construction ended up into a now popular pop-up among young South Koreans. The cafe serves coffee and baked goods to those who want their caffeine high in a unique construction setting. The shop is called AREA092. Will only be open for 92 days, hence the name. Following that, construction will restart for the showroom. 30 more minutes of news, weather, and sports coming your way. And coming up, a local live-in care facility is now using a robot to help deliver food and other items to residents' rooms. Plus,
Ukraine remains resilient 1 year into Russia's invasion into the country. I'm Trey Yingst in Kyiv. I've got the details coming up.
Oswego Health and Rehab in Kansas has welcomed a new member. KOAM's Carrie Worthen stopped by to meet Rosie.
Have got to see this. This robot is bringing me my food.
Enjoy. Oswego Health and Rehab in Oswego, Kansas has a new member of their team. Rosie is a robot that is helping make staff and residents' lives easier.
This robot has been quite exciting for the residents.
Oh, I think it's neat. I think it's special. I think that makes us special.
Charlotte Frazier is just one of many residents happy to have Rosie as part of the family.
The main purpose is to help staff and to enhance the time that staff spend with residents.
I think it'll take a lot of steps away from people, yeah, I think. And just having something different too.
Okay.
For now, Rosie is only helping with dietary needs such as serving meals to the dining room and bedrooms. That frees up staff to spend more time interacting with residents.
Mealtime is a social time for people that live here. Any little thing that's going to help the residents enjoy being here and staff working here is priceless.
Rosie made her debut to the facility a week ago. She can hold more than 60 pounds at a time with a battery life of 12 hours.
And we've adopted Rosie. She is one of the staff and part of the family.
In Oswego, Carrie Worthen, KOAM News.
Oswego Health and Rehab is the first in Kansas under Mission Health to have an AI technology. The Crawford County Mental Health Center announced 2 brand new programs. The Assertive Community Treatment Program will consist of concentrated weekly wraparound intervention services with the goal to reduce client interaction with law enforcement and unnecessary ER visits for the severe and persistently mentally ill. The Individual Placement and Support Program will help people with mental illness achieve competitive and integrated employment of their choosing, regardless of their background.
Individualized Placement and Support Program, which is an employment program for our clients who have mental illness or substance use disorders. And the goal is to get them employed in competitive integrated employment in the community.
The Individuals Placement and Support Program launches next Monday. The Assertive Community Treatment Program launches next Tuesday. Carthage Schools hosted a competition bringing together some of the best student choir groups in the area. It's called Carthage Soundfest Show Choir Competition. Groups from several area schools competed. There were awards for different categories, including Best Choreography, Best Band, and Best Vocals.
It's quite an interesting thing, this show choir thing. We teach them kids how to sing, how to dance, and it's in many parts. And sometimes it's way more than us teachers can do, honestly. But the kids really raise the levels every year, and they get to show off their talents.
If this piqued your interest and you want to see it, the competition continues tomorrow. Elizabeth Banks' cocaine bear isn't the only bear running around. The St. Louis Zoo has an escape artist on their hands. An Andine bear named Ben broke out of his outdoor habitat yesterday. Guests and staff were taken to indoor facilities for some 50 minutes until he was secured. The zoo says this is Ben's second escape this month. The first time he meddled with the steel mesh of his outdoor habitat, causing the cable to give way. The zoo says it is now looking into alternative ways to secure the habitat. An emotional day in Ukraine, President Zelensky attending ceremonies of remembrance and meetings with world leaders as he marked the 1 year since Russia's full-scale invasion of his country. Peace is still a long way off of the eastern part of the country, in particular, has been under intense attack recently. Fox News correspondent Trey Yinks has the tale from Kyiv, Ukraine.
Respect our right to live on our land. Leave our territory. Stop bombing us.
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky breaking wartime security protocols Friday, broadcasting a live news conference. Earlier in the day, Zelensky honored soldiers and citizens in Sofia Square. Later, Zelensky presented awards to military chaplains at a monastery. The chaplains are serving in Ukraine's armed forces and the National Guard. Almost 50 of them are serving on the front lines. At the UN, Ukraine's Minister of Foreign Affairs taking the floor.
The goal of the plan is to get Russia out of Ukraine and make the world a safer place.
Later, the minister asked for a minute of silence, quote, in memory of the victims of the aggression. About 20 seconds later, the representative for the Russian Federation interrupted with this.
To honor the memory of all victims of what has happened in Ukraine, starting in 2014. All of those who perished, all lives are priceless.
All representatives eventually rose for a moment of silence that lasted more than a minute. Around the world, expressions of support for Ukraine as fighting passes the 1-year mark. President Biden met virtually with G7 leaders and President Zelensky Friday. The U.S. announcing a new round of sanctions aimed at crippling Moscow's war efforts.
Not so much different, but certainly more intense here, particularly going after Mr. Putin's war-making machine.
Poland's prime minister joined Zelensky today as Warsaw confirmed its Leopard tanks have arrived in Ukraine. In Kyiv, Trey Yinks, Fox News.
A bit later, Alec Murdaugh is back on the stand.
A tense exchange in court as Alec Murdaugh returns to the witness stand in his double murder trial. I'm Jonathan Seri in Atlanta. I'll have details coming up.
Well, we've had some light showers and drizzle kind of rotating through over the past couple hours, and we still have a winter weather advisory just for a little bit longer in southeastern Kansas due to a little bit of freezing drizzle. Most of us are above freezing. Most of us don't have any concerns whatsoever, but you can see some light showers kind of working through, and then the drizzle really doesn't pick up much on the radar. So any showers are gone, but we still have a little bit of drizzle out there over the next hour or two, and that is just about it. It's 40 in Neosho, 38 in Carthage, 34 in Chetopa, 31 in Iola. Grand Lake is sitting at 39 degrees. We can go outside. Here's 7th. Here's Range Line sitting at 37. Northerly winds light at about 8 miles per hour. As we go through the overnight hours, we slide back through the 30s down to about 31 by 7 a.m. and then we warm up a little bit more as we go through the next couple days. So this wave exits, this wave rotates in. This is a strong storm system. Actually, quite a bit of snow in places that usually don't get snow out in parts of California. So that system will affect us late Sunday. Until then, mainly dry. We do have a few bouts of showers. We'll start right around 30. Mostly cloudy skies tomorrow. We're going to warm into lower 40s by noon. Once we get into the afternoon, we should go into lower 50s, which is going to be nice. About 48 in Parsons, 50 in Veneta, 54 in Pineville. Tomorrow night, showers pop up. This is mainly after midnight, so scattered showers late tomorrow night into Sunday morning. Then most of Sunday, just mostly cloudy. Warmer as we go into the lower 60s for highs. Then thunderstorms. These start to push in once we get into Sunday night. I think 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, they'll start to get into our western counties. Scattered showers and thunderstorms pushing through Sunday night. Now, some of those could be strong, maybe low-grade severe, but something we want to watch over the next couple days as this storm system gets a little bit closer to us. And it looks like most of the storms will be out of here by 4 a.m.-ish on Monday. And then we clear out, and then Monday looks like actually a pretty good day. Here's your day planner for Saturday. 31 to start, 46 by noon, high 54. We back to 53 by 5 p.m. Rainfall with this next storm system doesn't look extremely heavy, but right now about 1/4 of an inch, maybe some areas 1/2 inch, depending on where those storms line up. So we get rid of that system. Look at Tuesday. We warm up into near 60, really. So Tuesday looks good. Wednesday into Thursday, here's our next storm system we need to watch because this could be a rain over to snow situation, something we want to keep our eyes on over the next several days. 54 tomorrow, 64 on Sunday, 66 on Monday, 68 Tuesday, 58 by the time we head into Wednesday. And then showers, possibly over to snow next Thursday and Friday, and then next weekend is shaping up pretty nice.
So just a couple days of precip and then
overall everything else is pretty good.
That looks beautiful. All right, thank you, Doug.
Yep.
Coming up in sports, the Fort Scott girls aim to earn the outright SEK title tonight against Independence. Plus, Pitt State and Missouri Southern baseball meet for one of their games in their 3-game rivalry series. Jacob Leonard has those highlights and more next.
We have a big-time girls basketball matchup in Southeast Kansas tonight with the Independence Bulldogs hosting the Fort Scott Tigers. Both teams are ranked in the top 10 in the state in Class 4A, with Indy sitting at number 5 and Fort Scott at number 8. Now this one is an important one. If Fort Scott wins tonight, they are outright SEK League champions. If it's Independence, the two teams share the league title. In the second quarter, Keegan Yarrick hits the 3 from the corner. She leads the way with 14, but Indy up 2 at halftime. To the fourth quarter now. Carson Wonderly, nobody there. She pulls up and buries the 3. Wonderly scores 5. That gives Fort Scott a 3-point lead. Now later in the fourth, still a tight game. Yarrick finds Kinsey Murphy wide open. That gets the Fort Scott lead to 4 with under a minute to go. Now still a 4-point game. Final seconds. Abby Vale hits the 3. She scores 12, but that's just not enough. Fort Scott holds on 34-33. The Tigers are outright SEK League champions. The Pittsburgh State Gorillas and Missouri Southern Lions begin MIAA play with a rivalry series this weekend. The Gorillas host the Lions for a 3-game series, with Game 1 being this afternoon in Pittsburgh. Now, both of these teams are off to good starts this season. Pitt State 8-4. On the other side, Missouri Southern is 9-4. Top of the second, Will Doherty up. Absolutely crushes this ball high and deep to left. Clears the wall out there. Solo homer for Doherty. Southern has the first run of the day. Cole Woods, money early on the mound for the Lions. Second inning, gets a swing and a miss. Then later in the inning, same thing. Woods, check it out. A little stare into the dugout after that one. He doesn't give up a hit until the 5th. Now here in the 5th, Cade Clemens up, yanks a liner into the left field corner, bounces off the wall. Dagan Brady scores. Pitt State gets 2 in the inning to tie it up. Next inning, Clemens again going to left. Good effort out there, but the ball gets down. Austin Workins scores, and Pitt State has their first lead of the day. On the mound for PSU, Zach Shoemaker, Missouri Southern transfer, facing his former team for the first time. That's his last pitch of the day. Swing and a miss. Check it out. He's fired up. I think he wanted this one today. 7 innings, 8 strikeouts for Shoemaker. Then the Gorilla Bats get hot. Austin Workins, with runners on the corner, sends one opposite field. Connor Locks trots in to score. Pitt State pulls away to take game 1 over Southern tonight, 8-3. Now in the major leagues, Kansas City Royals play their first spring training game of the season today. The Royals face the Texas Rangers in surprise Arizona. Kansas City wins 6-5. Tucker Bradley hits a walk-off solo home run in the bottom of the 9th. These two teams will be right back on the field again tomorrow at 2:05. So a good, fun, somewhat heated Pitt State, Missouri Southern game 1 today. Game 2 of that series will be in Pittsburgh, 2 o'clock tomorrow afternoon.
Tomorrow afternoon? Man, I wish I was in town, or else I'd go check it out, because I know, man, oof.
Yeah,
words can't describe how both locker rooms are feeling after tonight.
No, the games 2 and then game 3 on Sunday, going to be outstanding.
Okay, I'm going on Sunday. Back with more after this. Alec Murdaugh returned to the witness stand in his double murder trial. Prosecutors questioned him further about the night of his wife and his son were killed. Fox News correspondent Jonathan Siri has more.
I never manufactured any alibi in any way, shape, or form.
Disbarred South Carolina attorney Alec Murdaugh facing off with prosecutors at his double murder trial on Friday. The state challenged Murdaugh on why he lied to investigators about not being at the family kennels the night his wife Maggie and son Paul were killed.
You, like you've done so many times over the course of your life, had to back up and make a new story that kind of fit with the facts that can't be denied. Isn't that true, sir?
No, sir, that's not true.
On Thursday, Murdaugh admitted that he was not taking a nap while his family was at the kennels as he originally claimed. He testified to briefly stopping by before returning home and then going on to visit his mother. Prosecutor Creighton Waters walked the court through a timeline of that night, often referring to Murdaugh's testimony as his new story. He pressed the former attorney on why he could not always remember specifics from that night.
Are these also convenient facts in your new story that have to fit with the timeline now that that evidence has been thrown in your face?
No, sir.
Does that sound like real life to you, that you jet down there and jet back, Mr. Murdaugh?
Murdaugh also faced questions about his opioid addiction. He told the court he sometimes took more than 60 oxycodone pills a day in the months leading up to the murders.
As I took more and more, and over the years, it just, you build up a tolerance to pain pills.
Murdaugh's defense team is expected to wrap up their case next week. In Atlanta, Jonathan Siri, Fox News.
Coming up, how a young boy's ongoing efforts of supporting those with cancer is gaining national attention. A 12-year-old Rhode Island boy spent years growing out his hair to donate to kids with cancer. Sam Reed explains how AJ Silva's decision to do it was easy, but why carrying it out was very hard.
Every day like clockwork, 12-year-old AJ Sylvia has to take care of his head of hair.
I have to brush it every time I wake up and before I go to bed.
With locks this long, the process can push your patience.
Do you enjoy doing that?
Not really.
But it's because of his end goal that these few extra minutes of getting ready are worthwhile.
I just wanted more children that have no hair to get hair.
About 4 years ago, his hair was just as long in elementary school, so he decided to chop it off and donate his 12 inches to Wigs for Kids to support those with cancer.
It made me feel really happy that I was doing something good and making someone really happy, so I decided to do it again.
With high hopes for his hair heading into middle school with what he thought would be something positive, turned into 2 years of torment and bullying.
There were days when he'd come off the school bus like crying, and it just really hurt me as his mom to see him going through that.
Some kids couldn't accept or understand why a boy would want their hair so long.
Sometime in 7th grade, I was actually considering just getting a haircut and not donating it again because of how much I was getting bullied, but I decided to keep doing it because I knew that if I did that, I would be being selfish.
Elizabeth Gagnon says it was at that moment she made a promise to her son.
And I kind of encouraged him. I'm like, baby, you're doing a really good thing. You know, like, if you stick with it, then I promise to cut my hair too.
But she couldn't keep quiet, so she posted in her local community Facebook pages about her son's ongoing efforts.
To kind of get the word out there, like, look, he's doing this for a good reason, and it would be really nice if he would stop getting teased for it.
The responses were overwhelmingly positive, as people praised him for his patience. That's when AJ decided to offer an opportunity to others to get their haircuts for free at Steph's salon so it can be donated alongside his.
If it's a small difference, at least we're helping to make a difference in somebody's lives.
So far, 7 people have pledged to alter their appearance. AJ says choosing to wait it out is beyond worthwhile.
Why would that have been selfish?
Because I would have just been like stopping the struggle for myself and forgetting about the kids who struggle every day with no hair themselves.
Showing you something good. I'm Sam Reed.
Bravo, AJ. Bravo. Well, that's our time for tonight, and it's been a fun week. Thank you for joining us, and before you go, we'll leave you with a video of polar bears and otters at the Oregon Zoo playing in snow. Be safe, and we'll do this all again next week. See you then.